Alien Earth is over. Or is it? All the questions were answered. Or were they? We don't really know. Welcome back to Movies Good Internet Bad. I'm Cory. That's Shane. This is our spoiler-filled review of the finale of what we can only assume is season 1 of multiple seasons of Alien Earth. Shane, I have a feeling I know how this one is going to go. Uh, how'd you feel about the way they went out?
It was not great, Cory. It was not great at all.
All right, that's going to do it, folks. Like and subscribe. Hope you really enjoyed this video. The average watch time on this one's going to be really great, and YouTube's going to pump that algorithm. Would you care to elaborate on what you were not
No, I
overly
think that's it.
enthused
No,
about?
I, uh, I think I said
Nope.
on the prior episode that we got into like big dumb ending territory, and that's what
Yeah.
this felt like. We got into like corny slasher movie territory with
Mhm.
this one, and it was like from the very first scene where like she's walking up to the grave and like the little aliens hiding in the corner. I'm like, oh my god, this is just it's going into the absurd territory.
Yeah.
I expected something a little bit more, I guess, serious because the first, I feel like while there was some levity, the first half ish, 60% of the season was mostly pretty serious and
Yeah.
dark in
Mhm.
tone. And then it went way corny towards the end. And I didn't buy the tone shift.
The tone shift was really just the last two episodes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which crazy to me that is what they decided to do. I don't care if it looked cheesy or whatever. Like, at least we didn't see the three stripes on his Adidas. I don't know if anybody saw that picture
Yeah.
floating around, but the xenomorph was wearing Adidas's that I guess got CGI'd out. But um, my issue with this episode was that there was very little in terms of resolution.
Yeah.
They tried to very quickly wrap things up. Oh, everybody that was bad from the Prodigy Corp is in a prison cell or whatever, and it didn't sit right. I wanted some stuff to have like a little bit more resolution to it. And I understand that they want to set up a season two. I keep refreshing my social feeds to see. I'm looking for the variety tweet that says Alien Earth renewed for season two at
Yeah.
FX. I feel like it's coming any minute or any day now. But a lot of times, especially with first seasons of TV, it's pretty much a rule of thumb that you kind of go for broke in the expectation that you're not going to get a season two.
Hmm.
And to me, this one just very deliberately felt like almost like bait to get a
Yeah.
season two. Which another show that came out somewhat recently was the Star Wars Acolyte show. It did the exact same thing, and then it
Hmm.
didn't get renewed. And then it's
Yep.
just like, okay, cliffhangers and all this
Yep.
extra setup for what could be nothing. And in the volatile landscape of the world of streaming right now, this was certainly a choice. Maybe uh, they brokered a deal for multiple seasons before this one was even made or something. I don't know, but I'm curious what your thoughts are in regards to that.
Yeah, I find that a good season of TV should still be self contained. It
Yeah,
should lead into new things. But if you don't have a self contained story that like actually has resolution, I feel like we didn't get resolution on almost any of these
anything.
plot threads.
Yeah.
Like even the boy genius plot thread, all of that, like that is still ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
Very few of these characters like died. They all survived. Morrow survived. Kirsch survived. Like all these characters are just here for the next season.
Yep.
And I just and it's not to say that like everyone needs to die at the end of the show, but like if you're setting up all of these, it felt like we stopped like halfway through a season
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah. For sure.
And that's a little bit difficult because we said last episode that a good season finale can right a lot of wrongs
Hmm.
for a show throughout, and this didn't really feel like a season finale.
Yeah.
It
Not at
it
all.
or it felt like here's what I'll say. It felt like a Game of Thrones season finale where it springboards to the next one.
Hmm.
But the difference with Game of Thrones is that your big moment was in the one prior.
Sure.
But we
Yeah.
didn't have that big
We
moment in
didn't have a
this
big
one
moment.
either.
Yeah.
It just kind of felt like it was building to a whole lot of nothing really.
Yeah. I
Still
just
building actually.
the big storyline with the corporations, like this ended with Utani showing up to
Right.
the island.
Yep.
We had thought way back at the beginning of the season that that was going to be like one of the big end of the season things that happens was full scale invasion, war, whatever. didn't happen. Very little resolution for Joe and Marcy. Very little resolution for Boy Genius, I guess. Except we got a little bit of backstory on him where he didn't like his dad, so
Killed
he
his
built
dad with
himself a new one,
Adam. That
as one
was
does.
so Adam ended up being the synth daddy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Synth Daddy. Hey, we
synth
should get that on
daddy.
like a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Movies good, internet bad. Synth
Synth
Daddy.
daddy. Yes.
Comment below if you want to see that. Uh, we will get 0 comments on this video. Uh, but yeah, so like, I guess you got to give a character like that a little bit of backstory, whatever. Um, I was a big fan of where the eyeball ended up. I was a little bit nervous when they had clearly, trapped Joe in the room with the sheep, and you
Mhm.
kind of think to yourself, okay, there's no way that Joe could outpower this thing. But then, of course, it gets away. It does that creepy little dissolve down into the underneath the floorboards or whatever,
Yep.
and it makes its way into Arthur's dead body, which was probably
Like
the best
the
choice.
zombie sit up, like with the
Yeah,
comedic music and everything. I
and the
don't
one
know, man.
eye's like sticking out more than the other one. Yeah,
Yeah, all the music also like didn't play for me at all. Or it's like they're playing the timpanis or whatever every
mhm,
time like something gets yanked around a corner or something like that.
yeah.
It just felt like comedic timing throughout the entire finale, and it played as like a joke.
And I wonder if that's Noah Hawley's style,
Yeah,
because
maybe.
if you watch Fargo, that's
Yeah.
very much the case. A lot of uh, the violence and the crazy stuff that goes on in that show is kind of a comedy of errors sort of thing. Uh, which I don't know if that tone meshes with the Alien
Yeah,
universe very
Fargo is
well,
also
but
a comedy. The
right,
original movie
yeah,
is a
yeah,
comedy.
yeah.
Alien is very much not a comedy.
Really?
I
Are
guess you
you?
could watch it as a comedy.
I was gonna say,
We
are
should
you
put a
sure?
laugh track over Alien.
Alien was recorded in front of a live studio audience. Oh God, we're canceled after this one. This is a good one to wrap it up and go home and nuke this channel.
I I just I don't know. I'm very confused as to what the theme of the show is supposed to be, other than like, you know, growing up is a good thing. You shouldn't be emotionally stunted.
I guess. I mean,
uh if you look at all the threads, the plot threads that went throughout this whole season, you had, Morrow and Slightly, which
mhm,
that ends with him just like knocking him out, but then Morrow's alive.
yep.
So that's the ending of that one. And he says like, "Oh, I didn't actually hurt your family." Okay,
Okay.
cool. No dramatic moment or anything like that.
Right.
We got Kirsch and Morrow with the dumb fist fight where everyone acts stupid. We got Boy Genius being a moron and going into the jail cell with 6 synths with like one person with a gun. It's like, what did you think would happen?
Yeah.
You
Hubris,
idiot.
right? Smart
I
people,
guess.
egomaniacs, hubris.
I
Yeah.
guess. But it's a lot of very obviously stupid things.
Sure.
Like people just acting dumb for plot convenience is not good storytelling to me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I said something along the lines of in the Alien remake episode of this, where it was less the people being stupid and more the aliens being smart.
Mhm.
In this, it felt a lot more of like the people just being stupid,
Well, yeah, because the aliens basically lost all their agency because now they're being controlled
controlled by
by Wendy.
God.
Yeah,
She
who
just
can
becomes a
apparently,
god for
yeah,
she can control the entire. Why is there an elevator with a self-destruct sequence in it?
I don't
Could
know, man.
somebody explain that? Was it a fake self-destruct sequence that she programmed?
I That's a great question because
Why does your elevator blow up?
if I worked in that compound and that elevator door just presented itself to me and I knew that there was a self-destruct sequence that was built in there,
Maybe
I'd be
don't
like,
walk in.
I'm not going in there. I'll take the stairs. It's good for your heart. Uh, Yikes.
I just a lot of this didn't really make sense. It didn't resolve itself. It was just a bunch of stuff happening. Why are the soldiers in the lab?
I don't know.
They just went in there to
Yeah,
die for no reason. That
yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
Although the one death was pretty gnarly.
It was gnarly.
It was pretty cool. If you're
But
a
like,
psycho.
there's no reason for them to be there
No, not at all.
except for gore and laughs. Ha ha! She died because she was just saying, "I don't want to be an alien's lunch," and then she became an alien's lunch.
Alien's
And you
lunch.
got a little zoom in on her face. Oh no.
Can you hold
I
that?
don't
Can
know,
you hold that
man.
facial expression for the thumbnail real fast?
Yeah, it was just a bunch of big dumb ending,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I mean, so that being said, overall, how do you feel about the season? Does this tarnish
Oh yeah.
everything that came before it for
I
you?
feel like it really went off the rails for me in the last 2
Okay.
episodes. And,
Mhm.
like, I was really enjoying it up
Yeah.
until then. It's like everything after that Alien episode
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
just didn't connect, didn't land. But I enjoyed setting up all the moral quandaries and, all of that stuff,
Mhm.
and then it just didn't pay off. And,
Yeah.
like, you can't go heady sci-fi and then stupid. Like, it has to continue that through line.
Mhm.
So if you're setting up all of these interesting questions about corporations and greed and all that stuff, it has to end in a smart way. It can't end in a way where everyone just acts like an idiot
Yeah.
and we get some funny deaths.
It reminded me a lot of the structure of WandaVision, the MCU show,
Yes. Yes.
where the first 7.5 episodes of that show literally take place inside of a house, just
Mhm.
in a residence or two houses that are in the same neighborhood. And then the last episode and a half turns into a full blown Marvel movie with two visions flying around the neighborhood, beating each other up, and explosions and witchcraft going in every direction, and the government's trying to break through. And it was like whiplash. Like you're just like,
Yeah.
whoa, what is going on here?
Yep.
This felt very much like that, where we had a very grounded, dark, sci-fi, like drama almost,
Mhm.
right? It wasn't even like horror, it was more like a drama at the beginning. And then it just, I don't know if that's studio notes or whatever, where it's like, no, it has to be a bigger, more bombastic ending or whatever. But
It felt like a B movie at the end,
yeah.
and it shouldn't feel like a B movie.
Yep.
At least I don't. At least that's not what it was set up to be,
Sure. And
right?
the best moments of this finale to me were the ones where it did get the opportunity to slow down.
Yeah.
When Boy Genius goes into the tank and talks about his backstory and talks about how they're all floor models and all that good stuff,
Mhm.
I thought that was good. And then when
Yeah.
you get that little monologue that Wendy gives to her brother about, I'm not a kid and I'm not an adult and I'm not Marcy and I'm not Wendy, and like more of that. But then we went
Mhm.
right back to just like alien shoot 'em up, and it kind of lost me there. So
Yeah. And I've gotta say, the xenomorph just ended up looking bad most of the time in these past 2 episodes, and they turned this thing that has been historically very scary and imposing into man in suit. Very
yeah,
obvious man in suit.
I don't think the xenomorph works in uh, middle of the afternoon daylight.
Yeah.
Like even in the movies like Covenant, where they're you see them in somewhat bright light, it's still kind of muted and overcast, and it's
Yes.
got a little bit of that steelier kind of look.
Mhm.
This was very like, we're in Hawaii with the
I mean,
xenomorph.
they turned Alien into Predator, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Basically.
It doesn't work. There were a couple scenes in the finale tonight. There was one where it was the xenomorph, like it was just a silhouette, and it worked really well. And
Yeah.
then there was another scene where it was when the boy genius stepped outside of the compound and the strobes were going off really fast, right? So you couldn't really make out the
Mhm.
details of the xenomorph, but it's getting like that kind of menacing silhouette going all over the place. Looked great. And then if you think back to the old Alien movies, those are all filmed, you know, nearly pitch black
Yeah.
for a lot of the scary stuff. That's where it works. And then as soon as it got out into broad daylight, it was like, yeah,
Yeah. Uh, I think it's just I don't know what happened in terms of the production value, just in general, I think deteriorated in these last 2 episodes. I don't know if it was the direction or just the lighting of it all and putting it all in broad daylight kind of ruined the
mhm,
illusion. But I felt like for the first however many episodes, it did look very much like a movie and
yeah,
it looked very good. And then we got into kind of B movie shot for TV, which I know it's TV,
sure, yeah.
but comparatively much worse.
This brings up a very interesting conversation that could be something that is an entirely different video for us in the future. But we're at a point now where we get mad at TV shows when they don't look enough like movies, and we get mad at movies when they look like TV shows. Like the way that things are made today and the budgets that get thrown at certain things, the lines are getting so blurred
Yeah.
between something that is a feature film and something that's a TV series. It's fascinating, and it's something that I think film school professors will study, and have there will be classes on this kind of stuff 10 years from now, which is
Yeah.
where is the line? When does something like this, when should it be a movie and when should it be a TV show? Like,
I think it almost doesn't matter. What I think matters is, can you use the budget and time that you're given effectively?
yeah.
And in something like this, I think they aimed a little bit too high towards
Okay.
the end, and they tried to do things that a TV show can't really do well with the budget that it's
Mhm.
afforded.
Yeah.
And movies do kind of the same thing. Although the movie thing's weird because you'll see a movie that costs $400 million and it looks like absolute
Total
shit.
shit. Yeah.
It's just
Like the
and
Flash.
yeah, but I mean it's kind of similar, right? Where they just
Yeah.
don't know how to use the amount of budget. You can throw money at it, but if you don't have vision, then it's not going to look good.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, and this, it felt like there was maybe too much vision for the budget that they had.
Yeah.
And that's why the best TV shows you'll ever see are just people talking in rooms, right? Succession, Severance, like all of that stuff. Even though it can be expensive, that's stuff that like you don't have to rely on low grade CGI budgets to
Yeah.
accomplish. You can kind of just do what you want. I mean, I'm trying to think of like any all-star classic TV show aside from maybe Game of Thrones where they extensively used CGI.
I-
Like it, I feel like when you get into that territory, it's way better off as a movie.
yeah.
I could be missing one. There's probably some all-star show, but
Comment below. Let us know.
Like Chernobyl is like they're talking in a courtroom for
Mhm.
half the time. Like
Yeah.
most of these TV shows that are great because of dialogue and character,
Mhm.
not because of production value, not because of CGI. They look great, but like you don't need to do all of the crazy computer generated stuff to make it work.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you try to make something that's more in the lines of a movie into a TV show, you either have to do it really differently, which I thought the first however many episodes of this show did.
Mhm. I
Like it
agree.
was very much a drama, people
Yeah.
talking in rooms. Then when you get to the point where it becomes an action sequence, it just looks stupid.
Yeah. It feels more and more like a corporate mandate where it's like,
Hmm.
oh, we got to put action in because it's franchise IP, and
Yeah.
like nothing is more of a red flag to me when like you're going into a second season of a TV show and there's a talking head interview with the showrunner and they're like, we just wanted to go bigger this year. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh shit, we're in
Yep.
trouble.
Yep.
Because the show's gonna like lose itself a little bit.
Hmm.
Um it's really interesting. And they are, TV and movies are two very, very, very different mediums, even though we consume them in a very similar fashion.
Hmm.
And I think the best creators of those things understand that, right? It's
Hmm.
like Christopher Nolan did an interview once where someone was like, would you ever do television? And he was like, no.
Yeah.
Like he knows he
Yeah.
can't do it. He's a
Yep.
movie guy, right? uh, and I think there's a very small group of people that actually can do both. But
Yeah, I mean, Damon Lindelof went to write feature-length scripts, and almost all of them were bad. Then he
yeah,
goes right back to TV and makes The Leftovers, and it's like a
and it's
revelation.
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Interesting stuff, man. Well, anything
Mhm.
else? Any other thoughts on Alien before we wrap this one up
No,
and on
I'm
to
a
the
little
next thing?
disappointed given how kind of excited we got halfway through the show, and it kind of
Yeah.
devolved. But we'll see. We'll see what season 2 looks like. We'll see which direction they decide to take. If there's a season 2, I'm not sure,
Oh,
but
there will
yeah,
be.
I've still enjoyed watching it every week and chatting with you about it. So.
Oh, you're gonna warm my cold, dark heart, Shane. Well, that's gonna do it for this video.
Is
If
your
you
heart
guys,
gonna burst out of your chest?
no, we're gonna wait till December when we review the Grinch to talk about that. I guess that's going to wrap things up for this video and for our Alien reviews. Go ahead and comment down below with your thoughts on the show. We'll respond to every single one that comes through. For those of you who found us while watching this show. Hopefully, you'll stick around. We review tons of TV shows and movies, 4K Blu-ray discs, you name it. We cover all those things. Speaking of which, Paul Thomas Anderson's newest film, One Battle After Another, comes out this week. We are both seeing it on Thursday, and the review will be out after that. And then there's just a ton of movies coming out between now and the end of the year that we plan to tackle. So be on the lookout for all of those things and so much more. And until next time, we'll see you guys in the next video.